sun. Be great at what you do. Give it all of you. And trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can have it if you dream it. Just be brave and you'll achieve it all. It all. I wanna know if you really want it. And if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I wanna know if you really need it. And if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, good evening. All right, let's get started here. All right, let's just make sure all systems are go. We have everybody online. People still coming in. Come on in, gang. Lots of room right up here in the front. Lots of room. Grab a seat. Grab a seat. I see a lot of old people here, new people. People with us for a long time, some of you people. Okay, good. Good to see you all here. Wow. All right, cool. All right, lots of room. Come on in, gang. And let's get started. So right now it is 8:01 Eastern Time. Let's hit the button. Okay, there we go. There we go. We should be all good to go, right? You can see me. Everything is good there. Let me get the questions box up. I just got to find the questions box icon. Q&A. All good. Yeah, cool. We are all good to go right here. Excuse me. All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to DayTradeSPY.com's weekend review for Sunday, July the 12th, 2026. And I know I keep telling you to, make sure you're ready and your audio is working and everything else. It takes me a couple minutes to get ready. I just want to make sure everything is all set to go. So, all right. There's my picture. Hope you can see me okay. I know let's see that background. I don't know if you can see the background there. I'm gonna bring up the other blind as well. Maybe you can see the beautiful sunset hopefully tonight as we get into the evening here. I notice the sun is setting a little bit earlier every day now. I guess we're just past that. The June, middle of June, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it. The longest day, the longest day of the year. And I'm sure somebody will tell me what that is called. Anyway, all right. So if I get in the shadow more, I'm gonna have to bring it down. What if I do these two? Just bear with me while I try and get the lighting right. Okay, maybe try and get the lighting better here. Uh, is that a little bit better? I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and keep this like this. Okay, that's not too bad. All right, let's move along here, folks. Here's what we're gonna talk about here tonight. Look at it last week, upcoming week, 2-minute tutorial. Answer your questions, and we've got a contest. It's not a skill testing contest. All I have to do is just pick a number between 1 and 100, and the winner gets ebook, Triumphs and Tragedies ebook. That's what we're going to do right there. There it is right there. All right, got to make sure you're all set to go. All right, cool. Listen, I hope you're enjoying the weekend here. Last weekend was a long weekend. I better get this disclaimer up as well. We had, we had a shortened week there. I guess it was last week, not this week, but the week before with July the 4th. But folks, by attending this webinar, you fully understand and accept the financial risks involved in trading securities. The risk of loss can be substantial. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your personal investment objectives and financial resources. By accessing this webinar, you understand that you are not receiving any advice as to what I want to buy or sell, but are simply receiving information for educational purposes only. Any decisions concerning your trade are solely your own to meet your personal objectives and risk tolerances. You're alone responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. We have to say that to cover our butts, right? All right, well, my name is Hugh. Why should you listen to me? Well, I'll tell you. I've been doing this a long time, folks. Long time. And I'm publicly trading since 2010. Mastered some pretty cool techniques, what I call from the trenches. That's that stuff that really matters, right? That's the stuff that actually separates the theoretical traders from the actual real traders, right? I look at short-term breakout trades multiple times a day, and I thrive on the success of others. People say to me, Hugh, why do you bother teaching when you can just trade? If you're any good, then you should be just trading, right? I said, well, I am pretty good, I think. I have some losers too. Now, not everybody's going to make, not every trader's going to be a winner, obviously, but I'll tell you, I'm not too bad. And and but the reason I teach other people, two reasons. Number one, it keeps me sharp, right? If I have to teach other people this stuff and talk about it a lot, it keeps me kind of sharp. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I'm just looking over here at the feedback coming here. On the one screen, I show that it's not too bad. The other one shows kind of that I'm in the dark. So I don't know how you're seeing it, but maybe I should. Well, I'll keep it up like this for a little bit, and hoping that you know what you're seeing that I'm in pretty good light here. But folks, I want to tell you that the other reason is that and those people are correct. I don't have to teach, but I enjoy teaching because I enjoy hearing the feedback from people that you know their success stories. And that's very inspiring to me. All right, very inspiring. I mean, you know, it's very nice to be able to make the money, but it's really, really nice to see that we had an impact on people and we're changing lives and we're helping people and navigate through this chaotic thing called options trading. And it's a tough world out there. And traders, the right to stock market takes no prisoners, and you all know that. Anyway, I thoroughly thrive on the success of other people, and same with my cohort John Johnson. I don't think I've got his bio. I don't have his bio on here because he doesn't really come on the Sunday night sessions. So I just kind of leave him off on this one. But I got to tell you, he's a lawyer by trade. Doesn't practice law anymore. In fact, he just trades and he teaches other people how to trade. So it's actually pretty cool. All right, so folks, my saying, if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. Very simple. John's saying is similar. He says, my definition of success is doing what you want when you want. All right, so they both kind of come from the same, you know, different places, but they end up in the same place. Hmm. Pardon me while I take a drink. All right, so moving along. I've been trading a long time, and I kind of stumbled on, excuse me, kind of stumbled on trading actually. I never, never kind of, you know, grew up thinking I'm going to be a stock trader when I grow up. To me, that was all like, wow, what's out there, and way beyond my comprehension, right? That's beyond my pay scale. I don't know what they're talking about. But after having invested a lot of money with my financial guru, and after having him blow up half my account, that's when I realized I have to take matters into my own hands. And I figured I can lose just as easily as he can. So I called him up one day, said, Mike, just cut me a check for whatever is left. And of course, he's trying to keep my account because I'd been saving for many years. And he'd been sending me the statements, but I never bothered to open them. I always thought, well, I'll open them down the road one day when I'll have a lot of money, right? Well, when I finally did come to opening one of my statements, I realized I only had about half of what I put in. Quite a devastating moment that was. But I remember picking up the check the next day. Oh yeah, we had some words. But I picked up the check the next day and for whatever was left, and I said, you know, I got to learn how to do this myself. So I learned a couple things that day. Number one, nobody cares or should care more about my money than me. And that applies to each and every one of you. Okay? Each and every one of you should care the most about your money. You give it away to somebody else to manage for you, you know, they may or may not do well. And frankly, most of them probably, I don't know, I can't speak on behalf of everybody, and I know some really good ones, but a lot of people out there, they simply use your money to advance whatever their agenda is, and that is whichever fund is paying them the most commission, right? Anyway, I don't know how that all works, but you know what? I just realized that if I learn how to do this myself and with the power of the internet at my fingertips, I have that information just as much in control as anybody else. Now, through the power of options trading, right, I can leverage the stock movement to my advantage. And trading options, of course, we have this huge leverage, and we don't have to invest a lot of money to make some pretty good gains. It's actually a really cool way of doing business. So that's what I did. Anyway, That's what I do. So if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. And I got to tell you, I made a lot of money trading options, and I just thoroughly enjoy it. That's the other thing. Very, very enjoyable. And I also enjoy teaching other people. So enough of that. Enough about me. Let's take a look at the markets here. But first, I want to talk about Spy in the Market. Spy in the Market. This is a newsletter. It goes out every week. All right. It's an easy read. 3 minutes. Light, relevant, even entertaining. Okay. And it's sent out to you every Thursday. All you have to do to subscribe is go to our website, daytradespy.com, and enter your email address. And excuse me, and you should be good to go. This week's topic, very simple. The SEC, Security and Exchange Commission's got a proposal out there to end mandatory quarterly reporting and how that's going to affect SPY, the S&P 500. There's some concerns about that, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right, meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's take a look at the charts and see what happened here this last week. SPY gained on the rebound on Monday, and artificial intelligence and tech stocks rose 0.7%, ran up the flagpole really nicely here. But on Tuesday, markets closed lower, driven by surging oil prices and a semiconductor sell-off after a brief rebound fizzled out. We had weaker than expected Samsung shares. They tanked nearly 10%, further fueling the decline. Did find a little support down around the 746, ran up and down, and ended the day right around that 747 and a half, whatever it was. Wednesday, a different story. SPY sank on renewed tensions between the U.S. and Iran. If I recall, that's when Trump said, that ceasefire is off, no longer valid. Oh, okay, well, that didn't last too long. It sparked geopolitical anxiety and surging oil prices. We got a strong rebound near the end of the day where we recovered much of the loss. A little doji there, just looking here, the hourly chart here. Doji came back down at the end of the day, so we weren't out of the woods yet, but it wasn't as bad as initially thought in pre-market. Thursday, we had some explosive resurgence in AI and semiconductor stocks. Micron announced a $250 billion commitment in investment in AI, fueling a strong rally that, of course, brought up the other semiconductors as well. Added 0.81% to the S&P 500. And Friday, things were just booming. Why? Because we have a new stock in the toolkit here. SK Hynix. It debuted in the NASDAQ, debuted in the US. Hong Kong company, all right. It came from the Hyundai family. Same people that make cars, SUVs and whatnot. They also have SK Hynix. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Debuted in the U.S. market, soared 13% during the largest foreign U.S. share sale in history. They rose over $26.5 billion with a 1.2 trillion valuation. Now, how is that for an opening? Wow. Anyway, shook off geopolitical tensions and prepared for earnings. Earnings are coming up. SPY pushed through 755, wrapped up the day right there, just under 755. Looking at the seasonal charts, that blue line is the current SPY price. The red line is an average of the last 5 years daily close. And you can see we're actually in a nice little bit of a rally here. A little bit of bounce coming up in the next little while, even a little bit of a drop. But sometime in late August, we should see another push back to the upside and kind of bounce around here into September. And then we'll see what happens here in September, October. Now, again, this is a historical record of what happened in the last 5 years on average. Doesn't mean we're going to see it again. And of course, there's a lot of geopolitical headline news that is moving markets this year that we did not have last year, okay, and the other years before. Historically, SPY rose about 2 points in the last week, and historically it rose about 1 point the following week. So, a little bit of a push to the upside. We're going to see what happens with earnings as earnings get rolled out here this week. So, we're going to start on that. So, earnings coming up. Okay, speaking of which, earnings. I'm just taking a look here and see what's going to happen here. Now stack earnings. I'm just pulling up here the earnings calendar. All right. Okay, so let's move on here. So here's what happened this last week. Geopolitical headlines grabbed attention, but SPY directed by artificial intelligence. AI is still the ones that are in control. AI is still in control of the market. Middle East war continues to be the source of volatility following renewed U.S.-Iranian tensions right there. Neither the U.S. or Iran appear inclined for a prolonged conflict, as I understand it. Iran wants to make another deal. Another deal. Here we go. I'm not sure the U.S. is going to, I don't know. I think Trump's getting a little impatient with this whole thing. So I'm not sure how long it's going to go for, but I did read where if anything ever happens to him, even an attempt on his life, he's ready to hit the button with 1,000 missiles aimed right at Iran, and they are going to shower them with an with an attack they have never seen in history. So we'll see what happens. Oil prices still matter, but markets seem less sensitive to headline news here. And attention remains focused on artificial intelligence with strong earnings and the continued reshaping of market leadership. Demand for tech and earnings remains strong, and the second half of this year is likely going to be to broaden. All right, investments favoring a more balanced mix of AI cyclicals and diversified exposures to other markets, middle cap, smaller cap stocks. Okay, we'll see what happens. All right, so here's a look at oil prices on the rise, but remain well below their March peak. Again, renewed geopolitical tensions have lifted prices, but they remain well below what we saw back in March. Market doesn't seem to be that impressed by oil prices or depressed. It doesn't have the same effect as it did back in March. But I'm just looking here. Back in March, we had a sudden increase in oil prices. So I think the psychological effect of that may have also contributed a lot to pricing and inflation and whatnot. Because as prices go up really, really high, really fast, people get very nervous about that. And that also affects their future plans, right? If they have any road trips planned or travel plans, you can say, well, not so fast. And of course, the airlines are hit hard too because they buy their fuel, very far in advance. And when they see a sudden spike in prices in oil, that's going to certainly affect them. And we're still seeing a bit of an uptake, but it's not nearly as bad as it was back in March. Here's a chart that shows broad-based Q2 growth led by tech sector and energy. Technology is driving the majority of the S&P 500 earnings upside. And you can see how the tech sectors definitely there's the growth estimates 34%, and the earnings growth is also very high in the tech sector, energy sector here, in the earnings because of the Iranian war and oil and whatnot. But these two seem to be dominating the market in both revenue growth and earnings, energy and tech, kind of pushing back and forth. After that, we come down to materials, S&P 500 is right there, about four into it. But definitely the market's driven by the energy and the tech sector for sure. This week, the S&P rose 1.3%. Year to date, 11.4%. All right, and we're heading into the second half of the year. So if this continues, what we're talking about 20+% for the S&P 500 if this continues. Dow Jones dropped about 0.5%, still respectable 10.5 for the year. To date, Nasdaq ran up 1.7%. Year to date, 13.4%. 13.4%. All right, week ahead. No news, no economic news on Monday. On Tuesday, we have Consumer Price Index, CPI numbers. Fed Chair Warsh testifies. He testifies, and I'll tell you what he is going to testify before this is Senate Bank Committee, Forex. Let me take a look here. This is day one of a two-day affair, I believe. Bear with me while I find it. Okay, apply settings. Okay, so Tuesday. Okay, Monday the 17th. Oh, we're going back here. Too late. Hang on, bear with me here. Okay, now I got it. All right, so on Tuesday, Warsh, the new Fed chair, is going to testify before the House Financial Services Committee in Washington, D.C. I think they're going to grill him. They're going to grill this guy. So anyway, markets could be volatile whenever he speaks. Also, we've got earnings starting here. Bank stocks, they start earnings on Tuesday. We have on Tuesday, not a lot on Monday. I'm just going to take a look here on Monday. Not really a lot of high impact items. On Tuesday, we've got JP Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. They are going to be reporting on Tuesday, setting the bellwether for earnings. Wednesday, Johnson Johnson, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Progressive Corporation, Bank of New York Mellon, PNC Financial Services, Kinder Morgan. On Thursday, United Health, GE Aerospace, Netflix, Abbott Labs, U.S. Bank or State Street Corporation, Citizens Financial. And on Friday, we have Travelers, Truist, Third Bank, Fifth Third Bank, or so it's going to wind down a little bit here. But next week, early on, all the banks are going to be reporting. That's going to be interesting. On Wednesday, we have the PPI, Producer Price Index, Fed Share Wars testifies, day two, and the Empire State Manufacturing Index, also called the New York State Index. Thursday, we've got unemployment claims coming in, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, and retail sales. And on Friday, not that much. University of Michigan consumer sentiment, inflation expectations from the University of Michigan. Also, we've got housing starts and building permits. All right, that's coming up on Friday. So volatility wise, we have very low volatility on Monday, high Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and medium on Friday. Q2 earnings season, folks, to start the week. We'll see some bounce due to those guys as they kick off. And I suspect if the banks are going to do well, and I think they probably are, they always seem to, we can expect some elevated volatility also when Trump speaks or when Warsh speaks. But also, I think with the earnings season coming in, we should see a move more to the upside, probably more than just the 1 point. Okay, if that happens. If that materializes, let's put it this way. I think the pressure will be to the upside, and that's probably the direction I'm probably going to want to go to the upside. All right. We're moving on pretty quickly here. I promised last week I wasn't going to go an hour, let you get off with the the rest of the night here, and if you're celebrating your July 4th weekend and whatnot, and I still end up going over an hour. So I want to, speed it up a little bit so I don't hold you ransom here all night, especially on a gorgeous night. I hope it's nice where you are. It's beautiful here. And some friends of mine said, "Hey, Hugh, you leave early. You can one more trip out in the boat." So if I rush through it, I'm not trying to rush through it. I'm going to cover all the bases here, and if I get out, fine. If not, that's okay too. But again, I don't want to just kind of keep you all. So, folks, we're looking at this SEC proposed ruling. It's no, for those of you who don't know, you may not have been following this, but it's Security and Exchange Commission. These guys have been pretty active lately. As you know, they recently relaxed the $25,000 rule, which essentially says that you need $25,000 if you want to day trade in and out. If you didn't have $25,000 in your account, um, you could only trade in and out 3 times in a 5-day period, which doesn't bode well for day traders, right? We like to trade. We like to trade a lot. But they relaxed that rule, and a lot of brokers have now adjusted their accounts so that you can just get in at a couple $1,000s and go in and out as long as you have the cash to substantiate your trades. Anyway, the next ruling they're working on right now is this proposed ruling. There is a number for it. I don't have the number. It doesn't matter. But this is to end mandatory quarterly reporting for stocks, companies. And the way it works is this, allowing companies to report semi-annually instead. Now, for SPY, what's this going to mean? Well, it can introduce less frequent fundamental data, leading to increased stock price volatility during earnings period. So instead of getting a quarterly earning, you're going to get a semi-annual earning, really? You know how much can happen in 6 months, and we don't know about it? Definitely, there's going to be a lot of volatility kicking in when these earnings come out. Wider information gap between institutional and retail, not retained, retail earnings, investors. And let me just fix this typo here. All right, let's get back to this here. Retail price investors having reliance on voluntary alternative updates. So we're going to rely on voluntary alternate updates, seriously? However, that's not always going to be the case. They say the proposal would make it optional and not mandatory. Now, some large caps like Apple, Microsoft, those kinds of guys, they're still expected to largely continue quarterly reporting to meet institutional demands. So I'm not sure the large caps are going to be affected by this that much if they were smart. the large caps, they would continue on with quarterly reportings. I mean, my opinion, I'd rather see monthly earnings. Give me monthly data. Give me up to date data. I mean, I don't understand it because today's technological world, what the heck? We could see daily updates, right? We should be able to see daily updates. What do you guys think of that? But semi-annuals, quarterly, seriously? Come on, buddy. What are you doing here? What are you doing? Smaller mid caps may opt out for cost savings semi-annual reporting, right? It costs money to set up these reportings. You have to get all your accounting staff to, bring out the numbers. Although, like I say, with computers, I'm not really sure why this would be even an issue. Retail late traders are likely the most impacted in this. Institutions are going to have their irons in the fire in different ways. I'm guessing, but I'm also guessing that the large caps are going to continue on. I'm hoping to, and I think if the large caps continue with their quarterly, they're the ones that are going to benefit the most. We'll see what happens. So the good thing is that the SEC public comment period is closed. However, an overwhelming majority of individual and institutional investors are actively opposing this change. So the Exchange Commission has not yet held a final vote to implement the ruling. Hopefully they will let it go. Hopefully they'll say, no, we're not going to go that path. We want better reporting, not worse, not worse reporting. So that's just my opinion. Nobody's asked me, but anyway. All right, let's take a look here at the 2026 goal. This is a program that we started back in early January. It's to see what would happen if you were to trade 5 contracts on all of the narrated trades that we do in the trading room every day, John and myself. So we are recording this as if only buying 5 contracts per trade, and all trading room trades are included. Now, if we haven't discussed them in the trading room, obviously they're not going to be recorded. So you're going to see these kinds of numbers. Now, if you were to do that, if you followed along with us, you should have something like $33,920 in profit on this one year to date. Okay. Now, bear in mind that you're not going to if you see us getting into a trade, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to buy it at the same price or sell at the same price. All right. The market is very fluid. By the time you send your order in, the price has changed. You could get filled at a different price, but roughly it should be the same as this, and it could be a little higher, a little lower. But, we did pretty good here so far. I had a pretty good week, no losses to report, so we're good with that. And at least not that I've seen here. Maybe on the 6th we did. I don't think so, but some of these trades are pretty good here. John got into one here in less than a minute. He made $65 here. And in other trades actually went a lot higher than what we report. But this one here, the next one, he actually exited at the same price because it went against him, and the trading room was going to close. So he says, I'm just going to put it for sale for what I bought it for. But in reality, after the trading room closed, the price went, considerably higher. But we just mark it at that closing price, 712. Anyway, it's all good. We're almost $34,000 to the good. If this continues, we should be in around $65,000 by the end of the year if you are just trading 5 contracts. Now, I am going to put this out there for you, okay? I'm going to put this out there for you. And I just want to know, folks, and by the way, don't forget, there's a questions box for your questions and comments. If you have any questions, I'll put them in the questions box, all right? Don't worry, nobody else sees this. I'm the only one that sees this. Go ahead and ask and say whatever you want. You can certainly, handle it. Okay. Folks, now here's something I thought about. I'm throwing this out there because I know a lot of people ask for help at different things. And I don't have a lot of money, but is there any way I can make this thing a go? How can I invest and watch my account grow? How can I control losses? How can I do this? I get a lot of questions. So I'm thinking here, let's say, now, nobody knows about this. I just thought of this a little while ago. And a big if, all right, John doesn't even know about this, all right, my associate. But if we were to provide you with a personalized plan to earn $30,000 a year, starting with $5,000, would you be interested in this? And the answers are no, yes, if it's free, and then yes, you'd pay up to $100 for it. D, you'd pay up to $200 for it. And C, I would pay more than $200 for it. All right, so I'm going to give you a minute here to think about this. What would you pay? Let's say a personalized plan. So, you would email us. We'd probably send you a couple of questions. and so you kind of get a response to what your goals would be, how quickly you'd be looking at doing this, sort of a plan into the next 12 months, and lay out a strategy, personalized strategy for you to earn $30,000 starting with $5,000, and see if you can come up with $30,000 a year, which should not be that hard. All right, so give me your answers. Okay, I am going to write them down. Okay, let me get a piece of paper here. All right, so first of all, A, no. B, free. C, up to $100. D, up to $200. E, more. More, okay. Okay. Okay, B and C. Obviously B, yes, but C. Okay, up to 100. Okay, let's see. D. A lot of freeze. Okay, all right. C, D, E. Okay. I don't think we're going to do it. Well, I think we're going to want to do this for free. Tim says $500. Okay, thank you for that. Don't forget, you get what you pay for. Okay, lots of D's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see, and just bear with me until I get some of these. I'm trying to get an idea here, okay? Okay, okay. Wow, nice. Another E, okay. All right, so most of these are scalps. They will be a planned strategy, okay? Planned strategy. The chat is disabled. Yes, everything is in the questions box, Mark. Okay, everything's in the questions box. Uh, how about you pay me? Oh, that's a good deal, Dan. We'll pay you. All right. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I'd be happy to. We'd be happy to pay you to make money. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. And there's still one more. Well, that's really interesting. Okay. And you know what? I may just discuss this with John and the others. Of course, we've got a marketing department here with Eagle Financial Products because that's what we do. It's so funny because I remember many years ago when I worked for corporate America and I started trading and making money trading, and then I quit corporate America because all I did is trade, right? And what happened was I started Day Trade Spy. Okay, another B. It's a few B's here. Another E. And after making a lot of money in trading, I thought, well, I'll never go back to corporate America. I started the DayTradeSPY website, started teaching people, and of course, Eagle came around out of nowhere, picked us up. You know how an eagle picks up mice out of the field. They swooped down, grabbed me, said, "We got a deal you can't refuse." And they did, and I did, and I'm back working for corporate America. Isn't that awesome? But it's great. These guys are great. They're phenomenal. So, okay, another one. Okay, cool. So that's really interesting. So, and that's what happens. So, we actually make a lot of people a lot of money. We teach you how to make a lot of money based on our experience. Between John and myself, we actually have a lot of experience. I want to say close to 50 years, if not more. I don't really know when we started, but we can each we together we each have well, not each, but together we have at least 45 years. And I think if going back further, we're probably a lot more than that. So anyway, okay, well that's good. Thank you very much for that. That's really good news. Folks, I'm going to tell you about the trading room. If you're not in the trading room, you got to be in the trading room. Take a look at the QR code, take a picture of it because that's really what you got to do, right? The QR code tells you more information about what we do and the price and whatnot of the trading room. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with the trading room. It's something that we do every day, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern Time every morning. Folks, it's hosted by myself and John. I mentioned a little bit about John. You know a little bit about my background. This is what we do. This is not something we do on the side. We don't have other jobs, and this is something we do on the side for a hobby. No, this is what we do full time, all the time, nothing else. Okay. Now, that's not to say this is all we do because we like to enjoy life as well. John was out at the lake earlier. I'm at the beach. I live at the beach. My wife and I go out a lot. We went out, we actually went out for dinner tonight. It's actually pretty funny. We went to was it one, two? And we're almost going to go to a third place, restaurant. But we went to the first two, and we didn't like something. I don't know. I think the one was the attitude of the staff. Another one was the service. It was going to be too long. And we thought, well, you know what? We don't want to stay here all night. And then we're going to go to a third place. We ended up going to a grocery store, just buying some stuff, a couple steaks, and throw them up on the barbecue. And that's not so bad. So, anyway, but I enjoy doing other things in life, not just trading. I don't trade every day, all day. Sometimes I'll get into it longer than others, but basically, I make my money in the morning, get in, make my money, get out, and and that's kind of the way it goes, right? And it's actually pretty cool. You make your money, get on with the rest of the day, and do the things that you like to do. That is the definition of success, doing what you want when you want. Now, I like to go out on the water. I like to fly airplanes. I like to go for drives, hang out with the grandkids, do other things, hang out with my wife, whatever. It's so funny. I got to tell you a little story here. Yesterday, we actually had a garage sale. So we had this storage unit for, oh my gosh, I want to say 10 years. Because we just had a lot of stuff. Didn't want to get rid of it. Let's get it in storage. Okay, and just keep it there. And every month we're charged roughly $200 a month. And there was nothing really in the storage unit that's of any real value. I think we had, well, tires and a little bit of extra furniture that we didn't really need, and old books and different things. So, but over the years, I thought, you know what, we gotta get this stuff out of storage. It's just not worth it. So the way I figured, we spent roughly what, $2,400 roughly a year to keep this junk. So then, of course, we rent a truck and bring it out here, go to this place, put the set it up for this garage sale. Advertise a little bit. But I gotta tell you, I hate garage sales because people come to the garage sale. Well, I'm not really looking for this. I don't have room for that. Well, I'll give you $10 for that. And thinking, oh, as painful as it was, we had some really nice furniture that went for next to nothing. But you know what? I said to my wife, I said, don't look back. Don't worry. The money, you know what? It's not, the stuff's just not worth it to other people. And if you want to hold on to it, just remember, we're paying $2,400 a year. We bought this crap many times over because that's what it was. So the way I look at it, if it's just money, don't worry about it because we can always make up money later on down the road. Save it here, save it there, make it up in other ways, and you'll quickly forget about it. But you'll soon not forget about the pain in the back, right? Backside of having to always come up with the monthly fee for storing this junk. And the other thing is this, I told her, and you know what? When I die, right? What, you're going to deal with it? Let's deal with it now. Not that I'm going anywhere anytime soon because I have no plans, and I'm feeling pretty good. But the thing is this, you don't need all this junk. I don't see too many moving vans following hearses, so you can take it with you. If I figure if you haven't looked at it in a few months or a couple of years, you're not going to miss it. And if you do, just buy it again. Anyway, that's my story. That's what I did yesterday. And I'm pretty sore because, a lot of moving stuff and walking around. And anyway, folks, these trading room sessions, they are interactive, completely interactive. So you got the questions box, you punch up in the questions box any questions or comments you might have. John and I are the only ones to see them. These are learn and earn sessions. This is where you're going to really learn a lot of stuff. All right. And it's not like a structured thing like you're going to school. Okay, the classes are going to be such and such. Every time something comes up, John and I pull from our experience and many years of education and participation in the markets, and we throw out what we learned over the years. And we don't always agree on it either. So this is the cool thing. You're going to get two completely different perspectives on the market and on trading. Now, here's the cool thing. John has his own set of indicators, and I have my set of indicators. All right. But we somehow reach the same conclusions based on our indicators. We have a saying that says, when our indicators unite, our trades ignite. That's exactly what it is. So it's very important, I think, to get into that, into the trading room because you are going to get these different perspectives. And when our strategies come alive, this is where you really make money. Folks, we do this every day, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern Time. Also recorded for later review in case you can't make it. Now, here's why we do this for only an hour and 15, 20 minutes or whatever it is. Because we believe this to be an event. It's not an all day, hang around all day, 9 to 4. I used to be in those trading rooms before, all day, 9 to 4, every day. Well, those don't really work because whoever happens to be in front of the microphone or whoever has the greatest charisma, right? They somehow run things. Whether they know anything or not is irrelevant. But if somebody else, oh, sell, 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 the market's taking it, everybody, of course, sells. Why? Because so and so said to sell. And well, guess what? Um, you know, we don't do that. Okay. What we do is we teach you everything we know. All our thoughts come right out in the open. All right. What we're thinking, what we're looking at. All right. We don't hold anything back. There's no secret indicator that we are holding back that we're not telling you about. All right. Everything comes out right here. So you're going to learn what we do. Now, the longer you stay in the trading room, the better trader you're going to be. That's just the way it is. There's no secret to this, right? It's like anything else. The longer you do it, the better you're going to be. And if you want to get good at this, you got to get in. You got to do it. Not that expensive either, let me tell you. I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, but years ago, 20, 30 years ago when I started doing this, oh my gosh, there are a few programs out there, very few, and man, were they expensive. It's not a big deal to pay five, $10,000 for courses, and you don't get anything like what we give you. Nowhere near anything what we give you. Folks, 24.95 for a whole year. 24.95. Or try it first for 6.99 a quarter. $54 a week. I think that works out to roughly what, a Subway sandwich or half a Subway sandwich a day for one of us, John or myself. Seriously, for the benefit of two professional mentors at your fingertips in something like trading where you really need somebody. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. You gotta get in the trading room. Now, here's the nice thing about the trading room, folks. All right. And by the way, this is the best value. If people sometimes say to me, "Oh, Hugh, I don't know how to trade, so I'm not going to get in the trading room." I'm going to tell you right now. That's exactly that's exactly the reason to get into it. If you know what calls and puts are, this is where you need to be. Now, if you're not really sure, you don't know what calls and puts are, well, just ask me and I'll explain it. Okay, I'll explain it. All right. Let me just see. I'll get to the questions a little bit. Okay, get to the questions a little bit here. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you don't know what calls and puts are, we'll take the conversation over to the side. In very short order, you'll be in the trading room. You'll be qualified. All right. Let's look at the questions. I sense that, you know what? I sense that the sun is going to go down and the light is not on me. See if this helps a little bit here. Does that help a little bit? Very little. Okay. I think what the thing to do would be to just close the blinds. If we do get a really good sunset before we finish, I'll open the blinds so you can see it. Not that this is the first time that you ever had a sunset, but actually I think I'll stop it right around here. How's that? Not too bad, right? Let's open the question. Let's open up for questions. Let's see what you got here. All right, give me your best shot here for questions. Okay, bear with me. Lots of questions here. Well, some questions. Okay. Okay. Mark, a while back you suggested buying a UPS, uninterrupted power supply. Uninterrupted power supply for power outages. Could you advise what features you feel are important? Lost power. Oh my gosh. June the 4th, or July the 4th through the 6th. Thank you for that question, Mark. I have not looked at my power supply in a long time, but I'm going to find out. Just give me a second here. Um, okay, I've got a Cyber Power, and I think it's a 1600 on it. Bear with me. I got to go down and look here. I think it's a 1600. Yeah, it could be 1500 or 16. It's hard to read from where I am. Cyber Power is what I have. These things cost, I don't know, 120 bucks, something like that. Again, I haven't priced them out in a while. The prices have probably come down a little bit. They're not expensive. It's actually cheap insurance. And this baby has been going for years. I've not lost any material storage in the batteries. The batteries are very good. They just seem to last a very long time. I think in probably in about 20 years, I may have just, had to replace one UPS. But I think a UPS is very important. And especially if you are in an area prone to storms or power outages, It's excellent, cheap insurance because if the power goes out and you are on your computer and you are in a, you have an open order with options that you have not placed yet a closing price. And this actually happened to me. And I was so upset with it. I cannot believe this happened. This is the absolute worst thing to happen. I cannot exit the trade. I don't know when the power is coming back. I have options that are going to expire. And here's the thing with options. Options are derivatives. They are contracts. You do not own the stock. You never will own the stock unless you convert your options to stock. But you don't want to hold the options. Options are not a buy and hold strategy. So I do, a couple things. Number one, I immediately, if I buy an option, I immediately put it up for sale. All right, and I'll just grab a number out of the air. Just put up for sale for some number out there, so that in case something happens, your internet goes down, your power, whatever, somehow you lose it, that you at least have your sell order on the board, okay? And so I have, so I also, the other thing I do is, of course, I have the backup power, UPS, uninterrupted power supply. So, and I also have a generator too. So in case my power goes out, I'm pretty much covered. Now I also have my cell phone. So I have my trading platform on my cell phone, so I can actually use that as well to execute a trade should I need to. But I think it's very important. Very important. You got to protect yourself, folks. So look for cyber power, Mark, or any good. Again, I haven't priced them out. Any good UPS. Look for maybe the recommendations, the what do you call it, the reviews, and pick one. You don't have to go crazy. You're not powering, the whole village, nothing like that. But you want to make sure that number one, your computer is set up with a UPS and also your modem router, whatever, that those also have a UPS attached to them. All right, because if that goes down and you're still stuck without, right, service. So very important. So the only other one that's concerned with your retirement is your better half. Okay, we're talking about being concerned about my retirement. Yes, my better half. They need to know, right? They need to know what's going on here. All right. I'm really glad actually I did that poll because, I just thought of that program about, well, instead of sort of answering questions and trying to get people on a path in sort of a homogeneous kind of is that the word? Homogeneous? Homogeneous. Flat across the board. Not every plan is going to work for everybody the same, right? Some people are going to have more capital, other people are going to have less. Some people are going to have more risk tolerance, others less. So I'm trying to think if I can ask the right questions, get some information from people. And if, this is a big if we were to go along with this and structure a personalized plan for everybody so they can actually, okay, track it. Here's the spreadsheet. Here's what you're going to do. Bang, bang, bang. Gradually over the course of the year, this is what you should have, right? Anyway, so I'm glad I got those questions out of the, wow, that's very nice. Okay. Greg, how much would probably want to know just how this personalized service would differ from the current service? I'm already earning about $1,200 a week and love the service. Greg, if you're doing that, you're not the one that needs that. This is probably for new traders, people who are not maybe confident in what they're doing. You're doing $1,200 a week. That's amazing. $1,200 a week, what is that? $1,200 a week times 52. You're already way over $30,000 a year, Greg. Thank you so much, but uh, I forbid you to take that. That would be a step down for you, Greg, but you're doing fantastic. And I thank you very much for the comments there. I love the service. Oh, that's awesome. All right, Mark T, your products are lucrative and awesome. Thank you for the pick of the day. Yeah, you're welcome on that. Daniel, yes, we know Eagle has a marketing department. We get bombarded with promotional videos. We get bombarded with promotional video emails. I think you can probably get off of some of those if you email them and say, remove this, and that. Not really sure. I get bombarded too, so don't feel bad. Use it or lose it. Okay. What was the $100 question for another program? Rommel, I'm just throwing it out there. So what I just had just a fleeting thought in my mind on this, okay? If we were to offer a service that, hey, listen, we are going to work with you Just a one-time kind of a little interview or a questionnaire that goes out or whatever, get some information, and then we submit to you a personalized plan on what to do to turn $5,000 into, have a $30,000 profit in 1 year. That's what it is. How to trade it, how to manage it and ramp up your earnings so that you are going to walk away with a nice hefty gain at the end of the year. That's what that's all about. So how much would you be paying for? All right, and Timothy here says CyberPower makes a good product. I've used CyberPower UPS for decades. Never an issue. Easy to use. You plug it in. It's got a little window there. You can click out. And again, I haven't looked at that in a long time, but you just click through and it just gives you the percentage power and left and how much voltage and all these things that, nice to know things. Never had an issue with cyber power at all. And I've had some power outages, so not a lot, once in a while. Sometimes I have internet outages and I want to make sure my internet is good. Now, where I live, I get an internet outage probably not very often, maybe a couple times a year, maybe two, three times a year at the most. So is it worth investing in, another internet provider? Probably not, especially if I'm with, say, in the trading room in John who's in Texas. I'm in Western New York, Texas. He's probably good to go to pick up the slack should that happen. So anyway, so I don't have an internet backup other than my phone, but the power outage absolutely 100%. Okay, all right. Well, listen, if we do something like that, we will let you know. We will let you know. No question about it. So again, this is just a fleeting thought that I had. So, all right. Any other questions here? Let's see. Let me take a look here. How are you doing during these volatile times with headline news? We're doing pretty good. We are doing pretty good. So what we do is we look at headline news. We look at fundamentals and and we trigger off technicals. Okay, so we trigger off technicals, and because technicals still, rule in the short term, and we're not looking for huge gains. Okay, we're looking for small gains multiple times a day, and by doing so, we're able to ramp up some pretty good earnings just about every day. And that's kind of the objective. So that's how I do it. I'm not interested in swing trading or longer term trading. Not to say that company stocks or other ETFs don't have an impact. They do. But let's say, good earnings are going to come from the banks and good earnings from some of the Magnificent Seven stocks and stuff like that. That's going to have an overall positive effect on the market, going to raise prices. So I don't want to go against the grain on that. For that reason, I'll probably just kind of want to stay with calls more often than not. So anyway. All right, beachside chat. That's not my beach. I don't know where that is. Looks like it's down in the south somewhere, but that's not my beach has beautiful white sand, almost like glass. Very nice sand. So, folks, what we're gonna do now is I want you to pick a number. So, I have a lot of questions. It is strictly SPY. We do strictly SPY. We do not do SPX or any other trades. We do not do any other ETFs at all. Only SPY, which is the ETF exchange traded fund that follows the top 500 stocks, the S&P 500. Okay. Not to say I don't look at other stuff. I sometimes take a look around the neighborhood to see how other stocks are doing. It's just to kind of gauge where I might be able to see where SPY might go. But anyway, that's it. And okay, so right now, what I want you to do, everybody, pick a number between 1 and 100. And I am going to bring in my famous DayTradeSPY random number generator. Oh, where it is right there. There it is. DayTradeSPY. That's not the number, folks. Just ignore the 64. That was, I think, last week's number. DayTradeSPY random number generator. Now, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds with which to punch up a number in the questions box. All right, the person closest to the number that I'm going to generate is going to win Triumphs and Tragedies ebook. And if there's a tie, let's say there's two people within, say, three numbers or whatever, they tie, you will each get the ebook. All right, so we're gonna just kind of leave this here another 15 seconds or so. Just pick a number, one number, just a random number. It's not a skill testing question by any means. but the person closest to it will get the ebook. And okay, so I'm going to count down now. All right, and I'm going to hit the button. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The number is 68. 68. So let me go through and see who has the number closest to, or hopefully 68. I think last week we had it right on. Okay, Matthew G, 57, 57, 68. Kumar at 71. Okay, hang on. Kumar at 71, so he's 3 away. Okay, 3 away. Let's see. So is it 68? 68? Oh, James K came in. Okay, that's a little too far. Okay, Kumar, 71, 68. Okay. Well, we have a winner. We have a winner, and his name is Kumar with V, initial V. Okay, they came at the closest at 71. Congratulations, Kumar. You came the closest for our random number generator contest. Thank you for that. And I think with that, my gosh, 8:55. Wow, amazing. Folks, we got some other products I want you to think about. And all you have to do is click on the QR codes. They will lead you to um, information page and how to subscribe to the Inner Circle, Day Trade Spy Signal, Pick of the Day, and of course, our trading room. Been a pleasure, folks. Good night, everybody. Recording will be put up there shortly, and I'll see you next time.
I wanna know if you really want it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I wanna know if you really need it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I know it's been on your mind for a while, but to get what you really want can take some time. You gotta be focused now, no play around, and trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what I'm seeing. You can have it if you dream it. Just be brave and you'll achieve it all. It all. I wanna know if you really want it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I wanna know if you really need it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. Loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear. And there ain't no stopping now. You're the one. Shine brighter than the moon and the sun. Be great at what you do. Give it all of you. And trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you what